Hey, I'm Timer from Timer and Fresher, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how I built a very Mamma Mia inspired build. It actually has some of the houses and objects seen in the movie, so I'm gonna walk you through on how I did that. So the first step was finding a nice place, a nice spot to build it in, and I remember that in the movie it's actually located on a hill. However, I really like this beach area. However, if you want to build it on a hill, it would work perfectly fine as well, I'm sure. Step number 2 is building a foundation and decorating it so it isn't just a white wall. I used white concrete, and to top it off I used diorite wall for the edges as well as some diorite blocks. When it comes to the exact shape of the platform the houses were located on, I didn't actually know what I was gonna do, I just envisioned how the houses are gonna be sorted. I made all the floors except the one in the houses from cobblestone and added some dashes of andesite here and there to make it look more unique and worn out. And to give it the full Mamma Mia experience, I added some barrels, some flowers, some hay bales and pebbles to make it feel like a village. And of course we can't forget the tile that has a dolphin on it, and I couldn't figure out a better way to make it than a gold block and some stairs surrounding it to make it stand out a bit more. When it comes to the houses, I built them from wool so they would contrast with the concrete base they were built on. I also added some details like paintings on the exterior, window sills, flower pots, also some vegetation overflowing from the roofs. Of some houses I added baskets with flowers. It turned out great in my opinion. So the two movies are filled with dances, with music, sometimes weddings, so I needed to build a wedding place or a place for partying, and I decided to make it white to fit the overall theme, and I added some pillars which I detailed with andesite walls. Also a shameless plug, if you want more of this map, stay tuned for the new episode of our roleplay. Outbreak is actually shot on this map. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, enjoy the rest of the video. So in order to recreate these breathtaking views of the crystal clear blue water in the movie, I needed to clear out all the kelp, and I suggest that you cut off the bottom part. Like that, and voila, you have a crystal clear sea. And this is the result that you get, an almost perfect movie-like view. Now for the decoration of the houses, I added balconies, windows, doors, lanterns, exterior staircases. And if you're recreating it with me, you should add a lot of flowers, they just give it the color it needs. Here you see I ran into a blank wall, and as I said earlier, vegetation solves everything. The trick when you're making vines or overflowing plants is to spam leaves randomly, and then if you see some square spots, try to remove the blocks to make it look more roundish and natural. Also, a great way to detail your plants is using sea pickles. They're green and they fit in with the leaves perfectly, so if you're a fan of that, go ahead and do it. When it comes to the interior of the houses, I furnished all of them and I followed a very simple pattern. I chose a color, I made carpets and beds in the color that I chose. Then behind the beds I placed some wooden blocks, in this case it's stripped spruce, to kind of make it feel like a nightstand. And then I added a basic closet with an armor stand in it and a basic kitchen with a normal furnace and a blast furnace. And to make the build feel like a community, I built some restaurants and some bars on the ground floor of the biggest houses in the village. And as you've seen me do throughout this whole video, add flower pots and trapdoors. It's always those small details that help you put a build together. Also here you see me use pickles as cups. I've used them as cups, vegetation, and so on. Here I'm giving you a quick tour of the interior of the first house I built. So as you can see, it's divided in 2 floors. It has about 2 balconies actually on the second floor. The first floor was simple, like kind of a simple living room with a kitchen, and the second floor is a cozy bedroom with the sea view. Now going back to the details and more specifically the plants, here is how I built a nice looking plant with some fences and an anvil. You can also use sea pickles and carpets as details. Also wanted to make a panoramic wedding place on the top of one of the buildings, so I chose the building with the restaurant on the first floor, and here is me changing the cobblestone and blending it in with the staircase so it looks nice and more wedding-like. Here you have the end result. Also, if you're wondering, the second floor still looks good after I swapped the cobblestone with quartz. So I wanted to make a marketplace area because there is one in the movie and it helps make the village feel like an actual community. So here is me building an archway to the part where the marketplace is gonna be standing. As you can see, I chose a pretty weird and random shape for the foundation of the marketplace. For me, the only thing that was set in stone for this project was the Mamma Mia theme. Again, I built the floor from cobblestone and some dashes of andesite here and there, and here is me creating an olive tree. If you have ever been to Greece or if you have just watched the movie, you know that it's full of olive trees. So here is me recreating one, and I wanted to make the marketplace cozy, and I actually really like how the olive tree turned out. Here I'll be adding some leaves in a second, and also I used sea pickles as the actual olives hanging from the leaves of the tree. Later on you'll see me add a few more sea pickles on the ground to make it look like some of the olives fell. And here is how the marketplace turned out. I added some barrels and hay bales. For the tents, the shacks, the shops, whatever you want to call them, I used a very simple technique. I made a roof from some dark oak slabs and some dark oak trapdoors. And I felt like something was missing, so I decided to add a fountain on this side balcony that you see. For the fountain, I added a layer of fence, birch fence in the middle, so it didn't look like the water was flowing out of nowhere, so it looked more natural and realistic. And voila! So the side of the marketplace felt a bit empty and lifeless, so I decided to add two simple, small pairs of houses. They're kind of like towers. Their purpose is purely decorative. They can be used for anything aside from decoration. You can't go inside them. Well, technically you can go inside them, however, there's you can't even turn around in there. There's no space in there. And when editing, I actually realized that that's the first time you've seen me build a house from scratch. So if you wondered how to do that, you basically pick a random shape and a random space that's suitable for a house. And remember, don't just place houses everywhere. It won't be aesthetically pleasing. There needs to be kind of like a plan of the village you're building, kind of like the marketplace will go here, and so on. And as I've said many times before, after you've built the foundation of the floors of the house, you basically decorate it. Windows, window sills, flower pots. And remember, since we're sticking to a Greek, Mamma Mia kind of theme, all the details should be either blue or from dark wood, any type of dark wood. Now keep in mind I'm using a texture pack, however the vanilla texture pack isn't too far from that, so I think that you won't have any problems with it. And to top it off, we put a roof on it. All the roofs are from bricks. And then we hide some lighting sources with carpets on the top of the roof. Also, I thought that the windows looked too boring, so I decided to add some flower baskets. Always add flower baskets and flowers, they save you in every situation. If there's an ugly wall you want to cover, add some leaves. If there's a hole in the ground you want to cover, add some leaves or flowers. Also, how could I forget, there's an iconic scene in the movie where everybody jumps from a pier, so here is how I did it. It's a very basic design, and for the sticks, whatever you want to call it, that's holding the pier, I use this simple design. And for the finishing touches on the project, the foundation looked very bland and basic and boring on some sides, so I decided to spice it up with some stones. I added there kind of like rocks. Later on you'll see that I added some leaves, some vegetation, and I also mixed some polished diorite. Yeah, that's the white thing. I mixed polished diorite into some of the blocks so it looked more aesthetic and natural and worn out. And I repeated this process on each one of the sides of the build. Drum roll please, here is how the finished product looked like. So you've reached the end. I want to sincerely thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and you will do it for yourself. It was really a pleasant experience. Also, if you want to see more of this build, be sure to stay tuned for the next episode of Outbreak, so subscribe for that. Without anything left to say, I wish you a pleasant day. Like and subscribe, and bye.